Chapter number 4, Project 2, we are going to talk about remote access technology, and this is a very important skill for an IT support professional to understand, and not only understanding it, but also create some type of project and do more hands-on on this, because at the end of the day, we're living in a modern technology era where people are working remotely in most cases now. Almost every company have some sort of remote policies. You may be even working for a company where you are the only remote IT professional. You're doing 100% remote support. So of course, when understanding how remote skills work, it's very important for you to know the whole picture. So when you remote into a machine, that's a skill. Like, you're getting into a machine, basically a skill. So let's say this is a company and they have computer right here with a user. So let's say this is a user computer and you're working from your home, let's say. Okay, forgive me for my drawing, it's pretty good. So this is your home, you're sitting in your home and you're basically supporting this user. So for you to connect to this machine requires you to understand some sort of knowledge, right? You're going to use first your own connection. You have your internet connection, you have a laptop in your home, and then you are going to use some sort of technology, VPN, whatever they use. This company have bought it and they have allowed it. You're going to use that to make that connection to this laptop or desktop. Now, this could be also true. What if this user took the laptop from the company and now they're sitting in their home and they need some sort of support from you? So they will have some sort of systems where they will make sure that your connection is secure to the company's laptop that is given to the user. Or maybe user is just using their own home computer. So you need to understand that you have to access the machines on the company level, on the user's level. So now you need to understand how this works. So a lot of people get confused over here when we say connecting to a machine. So you only need to learn how this skill works. But remember, even if you work in a company with 100% remote skills, that doesn't mean that you just need to know a lot about remoting. What about then once you remote into a machine, you're just basically right in front of the machine then. So you still need to learn a lot of troubleshooting, operating system troubleshooting, software deployments, all of that sort of stuff that you're learning from these courses. That's going to play a big role. So you connected to this machine, but then you need to know how to do things. You cannot just learn about remote skills and not know these things. So you will be only, at some point, you're going to be very confident as a 100% remote tech is when you know how to deal with the systems directly. Even if it's a hardware, you need to learn about it. Meaning, like if you take our part 2 course, there's a lot of hardware stuff like printer troubleshooting. If this person calls you, even you are connected to their machine, but what if they're having issues with their printer? You still have to guide them. So understand that remote skills is just not you connecting to a machine. Then you need to have a lot of confidence on that machine to be able to fix it. And now it's a little harder because you're not seeing the machine. You may not be able to guide the user properly because that user may lack the understanding of technical terms. So make sure you're very clear with your instructions too. And that is why this chapter is very important, because it teaches you all that skills in the beginning videos. So I assume you have watched the first videos of this chapter and you have watched this video, which is going to tell you about remote skills. And now in our project, we are going to learn some of the things that can give you some hands-on skills in this project. And again, there is no support from JSS or Practice Lab for this sort of projects. It's all done on a sandbox. If you follow everything correctly in this video, you should have no issues. So let's go to our project lab, and we're gonna go ahead and go to Practice Labs, and I'm gonna search the sandbox that we use, which is this one, 2019, and I'm gonna click on Launch Lab, and that will open my lab. All right, so let's go ahead and launch the lab. We're going to click on it. So as you know by now that this is the topology that we have. We have a domain controller, we have a member server, and then we have a standalone server which is not connected to that domain. So when I say not connected, it's not managed. We have plab win 10, which is connected to the domain controller managed, and we have another machine which is not managed, which is a workgroup computer. So let's go ahead and remove that left side, and let's turn on all of these machines so we can then talk about this. Oops. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it on. You can also basically click here or click here, and then you have see how we say automatically login. You can change some settings if you want to. And we just need these 4 machines for now. If your machines are popping up, that means probably you have selected this option. So I'm just going to do single here like that, and then it will show me the machines inside the lab. Okay, when you do single, you can click on it and it will show you just 1 machine per screen, and you can move around your screen if you want to. So now let's talk about scenario right here. Let's say you have this, let's say you work for a company and they have an Active Directory server running and everything is connected to that server. And let's say this is your machine. You're the help desk person in this company, and you know, okay, you got a Windows 10 machine, and basically you have access to other machines because of in the same company. You're working in the same building. It's going to be same network. So the way it works is that if somebody call you for support, a lot of time people will test you on remote desktop connection, which is a very commonly used supporting remote tool for a lot of the work that you do. So let's say, for example, you work in this company and this is your Windows 10 machine. Then you have a call coming in from plab 101. Let's say this is a user, whoever this user is, they're also working on this computer, and they're saying that I'm having an issue. Okay, so let's just create this scenario. Basically, they're gonna do something here. Whatever they have issue, they may have an error. They may call you for some software help. Whatever is the issue, they will call you. And you're working, let's say, in a different floor at this time. And you, of course, if you know them, sometimes you just walk into the door and you work and help them. But let's say you're in a situation where you have to remote in. You cannot just walk into this building because it's a little further, and you have to remote in because you want to help this person quickly. So from your machine, how can you access this machine? So this is a basic remote skills that people are going to test you. Even we're not going to go further than this for now, and we are going to just slowly go to the more advanced stuff. So at this point, if people want to test you, do you know your IT skills so far for the basics? Can you teach me how do you connect from your plab win 10 to plab 101 remotely? Not by clicking here, because you're not going to have this like in your company, right? This is a lab situation. So if you're on a plab win 10 right now, how do you connect to plab win 101? Is it possible to do that? If you're in the same company, most likely everything is working correctly, and all you got to do is to open remote desktop RDP. You just type that, and Windows 11, other operating system, I'm sure people are not using 7 now, but any 10 Windows operating system, you're going to see something like this. So you're going to click on remote connection just like that, and remote desktop connection will open. So all you have to do is you will type plab win. So let's go ahead and do that. plab win 101. So I'm going to click enter. So that's cool. Okay, we got this pop up, and it say that put the password for that machine. So, but here you can be tested with different knowledge right here. Like if I just type practice lab / administrator, I know that's a username given to me, and if I put the password here, will it work? It's not gonna work. The login attempt is failed. The reason for this is it's not working because remember, this is a machine that is connected to the domain, and even the machine is on and it's accepting that remote connection. You're putting a wrong username and password. But remember, this username will not work on this machine. Why? Because this machine is not a part of a domain. Now, if it was connected to the domain Active Directory, you could have used that username and password. If it has admin rights, it probably will connect with no issues. But at this time, it's not connecting. Why? Because This is a machine on a domain. Its connection is the same, network, IP addresses and everything, but the way it's connected is different. So how do you know? You go back to your systems. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to click on system information. So you see it's connected to practicelabs.com, and that is what do we call these machines? We say this is a managed machines through Active Directory. If you go to this machine, this is just a plain machine that has a local username, and it's not connected to any domain. So that username that you're trying automatically is giving you that username. It's not going to work on this machine. Why? Because if you come in and click on system info, it is on workgroup. So even though the IP addresses are okay, when you try to do RDP says, yeah, this machine is available, it's accepting remote connections, but your authentication is not correct. You need to change that. So how do we fix it? You will go back to your remote connection, and this is a common thing that people come across when they're working with the computers and systems. So let's go ahead and kind of go back and let's do this one more time again. So actually there's a pop-up open somewhere. There you go. So you will click on more choices right here, and you see now you can use a different account to access that machine, because this is not going to work, right? It's using Practice Labs /administrator. That machine, if you remember from the last project, from the users chapter 3, you cannot log into this machine because it doesn't have any connection to Active Directory, and it's using the Active Directory account, so it's not going to work. So if you go do the user different account, you could do some things like, putting the username and password, and because it's the same network, so it won't really care about the domain. So if you do this and type the password and you click enter, it is working now. See, now it's connected. Okay, this is a certificate, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to click yes, and it's going to go out there and it's going to connect to that machine. So now you're on which machine? Remotely from Windows 10, PLAB Win 10, you have remotely connected to this machine. I did not click on this. I use a remote desktop connection, and I'm now logged into that machine. If I click on it, basically what's going to happen, it's going to cancel my connection again and take over. So if I click back here, that remote desktop connection probably would have been gone by now. So do you see how it says your remote desktop service has ended? Another user connected to the remote computer, because when you click on this right here in this lab, the mechanism is used for remote desktop connection. So when you click on it, it basically kicks out this connection and basically you take over. So in reality, of course, you're going to be using a system like this, and your user is going to get the same message. So of course you have to communicate with the user, and you say, hey, your connection will be your screen will be disconnected. If you're using a remote connection, I'm going to take over. And that's how you start working on that system. Then whatever the issue is, you need to have that skills that you're learning from the courses, and you fix things or work on it or install a software for users or things like that will come after that. Now by default, remote desktop connection is not open in computers. This is because this is a lab, so they have already opened it. By default, it's like this. You go to you have a new operating system, you turn it on, and basically things are going to be turned off. So let's say if I go to RDP, not RDP, sorry, I'm just going to go to remote desktop settings. So if you click on remote desktop settings, you can find it from here. Many other ways you can find it. So if I click on it, you see it's already turned on. So it's not going to be turned on in normally when you have a computer that is fresh. So you get it from a Dell or anything, you have to actually come over here and you have to turn it on. And then of course you can also show advanced settings over here and require connections to be more like, you can add more security to it. Sometimes this is done through group policy, which is going to be a little more advanced stuff. We're not going to cover that right now, but most likely you have to know in your quizzes or interview test, you just need to know how to find these settings. How I just showed the example to you, how to find it. And also people may ask you, what is the port that you need to connect using RDP? It's very much a common question for interview. 3389, remember that. It's going to be 3389, and people can test you what is the port for RDP for connections. So 3389, People may, when you go to a company, if it's different, then just ask them why it's different. They will give you the reasons. And this is a very basic way that you should be knowing how remote desktop works. So, but if I want to test you on something, I'm just like, okay, you tried this remote desktop from this machine to this machine, and okay, I turned it on, it worked. But from your home machine, can you open RDP and type plab win10 or this machine? Can you connect from your home machine? Will it work? Yes or no? If your answer is yes, then that's incorrect. You probably need to go back to the first modules of our courses and learn about IP addresses and how the connections and network works. You probably skip through that. So learn that RDP like that is not going to work. Like you from your home machine, if you turn on your home machine right now, just search for RDP just right now. So let's do it. So I open RDP from my home machine or the machine that I'm using for this lab recording. This is not the part of this web labs that I'm opening. This is a totally different machine coming from different system. So if I type, let's say plab win101, plab win101, will it work? Yes or no? No, it's not gonna work. Why is it not gonna work? Because we are using plab win101, which is basically saying that this is the machine name and it has an IP address of whatever, but this machine that I'm on right now, it has no clue of who's plab 101, and that IP address that is assigned to this machine have no clue. Because for this to work, then you need to understand how VPN and different type of connections work. You're going to learn this later on in your courses about VPN Secure Connections. What this means is like this. Basically, if you're doing this from your home machine, you just open RDP like this for RDP from your home, and you were trying to connect to the practice lab, which also uses RDP. But in between your home connection and plab connection have no clue about each other. So even if you type the same name of this computer name, it's not going to work on your home machine, right? The only way it's going to work when you make a connection between these two, and that is through VPN and other type of technologies. You're going to learn that later on. So sometimes people may be using web-based systems, and that is definitely, you have to connect to another system to connect to your RDP, but directly it's not going to work. For it to work directly, you have to use VPN, which you're going to learn later on. Then once it's connected, then what happens is this: when you connect through VPN, I want to type VPN so you can search it a little bit. When you connect through VPN, then what you're saying is that, hi, I'm going to connect to your system right here through VPN, and then I will be able to know about you. So once you connect to this VPN system, then your systems will have a connection, and then it will say, okay, plab 101, I know it because it's acceptable here, it's authorized in this VPN, and I can connect to it. Then it will work. Other than that, directly, none of that stuff will work. So this is a very basic thing that you should understand, but a lot of companies are advancing right now. They're using cloud-based systems. So what this means is that, let's say you are working in a company and they say, hey, we're using this system and you just need to connect to it, and then you will be able to access all these machines. So what they're saying is that they will buy, let's say, a cloud-based system, which is web-based system. Okay, it's going to be something remote support, Zoho support, Zoom support, whatever that is. You just basically go to the web page, and then you log in as an administrator, and then you see devices in there. Let's say like laptop 1 or Stacy machine, whatever, however they do things, they will let you know. So this could be machine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is usually mostly used in service provider type of IT support jobs, where this is a company, they support a lot of companies, and they use some sort of system where they can manage other machines or companies. Okay, so you log in through the web browser, you access that machine through the web browser. Okay, and that is done by an IT professionals, where administrators in the company, they will tell people to download specific software on their laptop. So if they download that specific software, then it automatically connects to this system. Okay, but you don't need to go too deeper in this right now and learn just one software. For example, in our video that you were learning from the course, it says Manage Engine. It's actually a good product that you should practice on, and I'm going to show you that right now. And then you should use Manage Engine in your resume, that I have used Manage Engine for remoting in and other remote troubleshooting and issues. I use Manage Engine. You could use any other software if you like. There's so many out there, but we are going to use Manage Engine because it's known, and you have seen that in the video as well. So let's implement the solution. So what we are going to do right now, we're going to use PLAB Win 10 again, just like any other project that we have done. We're going to use this machine, and we will install the Manage Engine software on this machine. So we're going to use PLAB Win 10, and that's going to be our master machine. So who implement Manage Engine type of solution? Again, implementations are done by systems administrators or engineers or IT administrators, and then you will be given access to the system to manage or support other machines. So let's go ahead and download Manage Engine. You're going to go to the web browser like this, and let's open web browser in here in this lab. PLAB Win 10, I'm using this one, and we're going to open the web browser and we will type google.com. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to do google.com, and here we're going to type Manage Engine Desktop Central. So we're going to do Manage Engine Desktop Central, and we're going to accept this. Let's go click no thanks, and we're going to accept all of this. And now we have some of the ads. Let's go down. Manage Engine Desktop Central, and they call it Endpoint Central, by the way, not Desktop Central anymore. We're going to basically open that, accept the cookies. So once you click on it, if you're using a screen that shows like this, the menu might look like this, or the menu on the right side, you click on it. So to get started, we are going to click on free trial, and we are going to click the cloud edition. As I mentioned before, that now you could be on a web browser logging into some system like Manage Engine, and then manage your machines from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet connection. This is a great example of that. So we're going to go ahead and click on sign up, and of course you need to use your own information, like your just put like some demo information here and click on get started. If you want to create an account right here, you have that. So let's go ahead and do this, and make sure to use your own email for temporary purpose, and then do this process. So once you type your email and information, and you click on sign up, and basically it's going to say this processing, creating your endpoint central account. This may take few seconds. By the way, you could do this whole process on your own computer. If things are hard in this lab, you can open that same process in your own web browser, because you're setting things up from a web browser. But of course, if you're trying to connect this machine to your system, then you probably need to come and do it from here. It will be easier for you to get that installations and things like that. So as you can see, we are connected to the cloud version of this software. And basically you will log in with this URL, which is endpointcentral.manageengine.eu, and you probably need to just click on that and log in, and then you're going to see this basically the screen that you're seeing in front of this. Let me make it a bit better right here so you guys can see it. So it's the same concept. Like right now from cloud, we can configure, manage, patch, software deployment, inventory, so many things we can do. As you can see, it says that you need to install agents and things like that. So we're going to basically do some process over here to connect systems. So of course, it says right here you need to verify the email. So I'm going to go ahead and verify it, and then I'm going to show you how to manage your machines that we want to manage from different computers all around the world. All right, to manage this machine from anywhere in the world, we need to add an agent right now. So first we need to click on agent on the top. You'll click on download agent. As you can see, a pop-up will appear, but on the bottom of this screen, when you click on download agent, it will show right here. This is the agent that we need to run on this machine. So let's go ahead and run it. So right now that installation is open. It's installing right now. So we need to type this number 2616. For you, it may be different when you're doing installation. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to click next, and finish this installation. So there you go. Manage Engine is installed. The agent is installed on PLAB 110. So we are using Manage Engine now. We can log into Manage Engine from anywhere in the world and log into that portal. And now we can manage this machine, this PLAB 110. Of course, in your lab, when you do this and when you restart your lab again, that will be gone. Why? Because the labs does not keep any installation. So remember that it's not gonna, like, you have this system now and you're trying to go back to the labs through that system. It's not gonna work. So in this lab, when everything is reset, everything will be gone, wiped out. So we're gonna go back to the approval page and see if we have anything coming up. So far we have nothing. We can click on manage computers if we have anything. So right now it says agent not installed on the client computer. That's because maybe it's just got installed right now. It may take its time. So we are trying to see if it's going to come up. We can do another thing. We can refresh this whole page. And again, if it's not working, then there's many reasons. Maybe Practice Lab does not allow computers to use connections like this, like agents are connecting to other online devices. And if that doesn't work, that's fine. You already know now that things happens like this. You know, like in real world, the modern world, people are using this sort of systems, which now you can play around on different machines. So you could install this on your home machine, like try to create an account and then add your home machine to this account that you have created. Just make sure that you don't give your username and password to somebody else, because then they can log into your machine. Or you use a virtual machine that you have, that they will have no restrictions then, and you can kind of practice some other things like patch management, software deployment, and many other things that you can do remotely to help people out and enhance your skills. So it's another way for you to learn the remote skills. So as you can see, Practice Lab does not allow your agents to connect through from the lab systems to go outside to a third-party management, and that has a reason. They wouldn't allow these labs to be managed from other than this lab system, which makes sense. So if you had a machine running, if you have let's say a virtual box or something like that on your home computer, or you have a lab system on the other on your laptop, or maybe the main laptop, you want to try it out first. So let's say, for example, I have this virtual box. This is not a part of a lab. I have a virtual box running which has a Windows 10 machine. I could connect using this, and I don't even have to be in the lab anymore. I can just open everything from the web browser. That's another way to just show you how easily you can manage systems. But if things were working, you would basically use this to remote into that machine. You will click on that machine and you will just click on remote, and it will use the web browser to connect to that machine by clicking on remote control right here. You'll basically click on remote control and then you will see machines, but it says there's no agents installed, right? So at this point, if you don't want to do if you don't have the systems, you don't have anything at home, your project is done. You already know what this does. You don't need to go and spend too much time, because later on you're going to learn more about remote troubleshooting, remoting in from your labs and things like that. You just really don't need to invest that kind of time anymore. You can end this project. Another common meetings or troubleshooting software is just normal meeting, well-known softwares like Zoom platform, Zoom, or Microsoft Teams. These are very commonly used applications where people use to connect with you. So you may not have a system where I just showed you Manage Engine, where you are the one who is in control. You look at the machine and you kind of find them and you basically connect to them, and that gives you more control because there's an agent installed on that machine. So you have more troubleshootings that you can do. But Zoom is another way, because some people will take laptops and they may not be managed just like Manage Engine, and they'll just call you, hey, I'm having some issues. Can you connect with me via Zoom? So people may ask you that in the interview, that do you know anything about Zoom? So I feel like a lot of people know about how to connect to the meetings and things like that. If you don't know too much about Zoom, I would highly suggest you to go to YouTube, find videos. How do you connect to Zoom? How do you work with Zoom? Zoom is not a software that you use for support in the main companies. It's mainly for meetings, but it's also can be used for support. So it does have the capability to connect to a machine and then taking over things like that and guiding people. So when somebody creates a meeting, you will have to kind of understand how Zoom works. So try to go ahead and get a free account, create a meeting on a different laptop, connect to that meeting, and then play around with different settings like chat, because you are working with a user and you will say, hey, I send a link on the chat. So you need to tell the user where this chat is, or you tell a user that can you share your screen with me. So you need to tell a user what buttons to use or where to click, and that can only happen if you have an account for free and you use two different machines to be able to work with each other, like same meeting. So for example, if I have a meeting created, I'm just going to click on join. Let's say you created a meeting, you tell a user, hey, my meeting number is this, or this link, go ahead and connect to it by clicking on this. So see how I am, let's say, telling you, okay, if you want to join with me in my support, go ahead and go to zoom.us/join and type this meeting number. Let's say 852. I created this on my account, so I already know my meeting number. You will have to create your account, free account, and you can play around the same way. And then you click on join. So what it will do is basically going to start downloading. So let's say sometimes people have issues with, okay, it's not downloading, it's not working. You have different ways to tell a user to connect to me. So if you say don't have Zoom client installed, you go ahead and download now, or you can do launch a meeting right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on launch meeting, but there is no Zoom connected right now. So you can see before, when I was launching this, it gave me an option to join from the browser. So I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to type this all over again, 852 6716 6589. The reason I'm doing this demonstration is to let you know that there are different ways for you to help people. So if they have issues with downloading, there's a browser right here option. So you can connect through the browser, and then you will type your name, Dan, whatever the name you want to use, and then you basically click on join. So of course it says the meeting link is invalid, and that's fine. After this, it will actually join to that meeting. So I'm going to go back and refresh. 852671. Yeah, there's a mistake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on join again, and these are the things that you need to know. So I created a meeting on Zoom, I created an account, I went in there, I created a new meeting, I know my meeting number now. I'm going to click on 616 6589. So if a user have already downloaded the Zoom client, it's going to open it directly in that client. If it's not, it's going to give you this option, join from the browser. You click on the browser, and then you type the name, and then you click on join, and you see the Zoom started. I agree. So now the meeting has not started because I didn't start the meeting. So if I start the meeting right here in my other computer, it's going to basically open that meeting. So it's going to say, okay, meeting is already started. So I can launch the whole meeting from the other computer, and here I can refresh. So let's wait till the whole meeting is started.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, there you go. So the meeting requires a password. After that, of course, you will tell the user that what is the password for this meeting. You're going to share that password. So let me go ahead, and if I have that, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And this is all coming from my profile that I have created. So you will see the same thing if you have your own free profile created. So, and I joined now, right now. So of course, it says the browser is not supported in the lab, but that's it. After that, you're connected, and then you will tell the user, okay, now I can see your screen, or however you are doing this. But the main point is this: you need to know about Zoom. You need to go out there. You need to create your own accounts. You need to connect two machines, and you will not use the lab systems over here. Anything that is a web-based, that is third party, and that's not a part of the lab learning, like you cannot do exercises in the lab, then forget about the labs. You need to go to your computers, open your browser, and create and play around with those systems, because that's the fastest way you will learn things. Labs are not going to help you over here. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it's not going to help you in third-party systems. The lab is going to only help you with the things that is inside the systems, like troubleshooting, connecting Active Directory, and in some cases, maybe a little bit of cloud stuff. So this is all it for remote training. Of course, you're going to learn more and more and more in the courses. So keep continuing doing your exercises, and that's it. You should be good to go, and try to use all these different softwares that you have learned over here, and with your practice, put it on your resume and give a good answers in the interview, or tell other people that you have know about this, you know about this type of softwares. Thank you.